I received a call from Ted Ellis. We visited, and he said he needed a favor. He said I might not want to do this one because there were some strings attached. And I got to be honest with you. I immediately thought he was going to ask me to serve on some crazy committee. I was probably going to have to take one for the team. He then said that he would like for me to introduce him tonight, but only if I could be brief. He claimed that everything has already been said or printed in the news banner about him. Ted is humble. Well, Ted, it hasn't all been said. It would be a monumental task to research all of your accomplishments and talk about them. Let's just listen to a partial list of the things that Ted has been involved in over the years. And I want to stress this is a partial list. Wells County Auditor, Wells County Council, Mayor of Bluffton, Wells County Chamber of Commerce, Wells County Economic Development Committee, Bluffton Free Street Fair Board, Bluffton Cemeteries Incorporated, Kiwanis Club, Wells County United Way, Wells County Foundation, Bluffton Masonic Lodge, Indiana Economic Development Council, Ossian State Bank Board, Bluffton Regional Medical Center Board, River Terrace Estates Board, President of National League of Cities, past President of Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, ordained Baptist minister, member of First Baptist Church. He officiates at a few funerals each year, and the list goes on and on and on. Ted's involvement in these entities alone could qualify him for Citizen of the Year, but I think it's more than these. It is also what he did, the leadership he provided, and the many good things that were accomplished while he was serving in these many capacities. Let's quickly look at just two examples. His involvement with the Chamber in Economic Development. Ted worked hard and provided leadership that moved this community from a Bluffton Chamber Economic Development to a county-wide Chamber and Economic Development organization. Ted has always been an advocate for retaining current business and attracting new business to Wells County. Matter of fact, he has been involved hands-on with most of the new business startups over the years. Let's look at Ted as Mayor of Bluffton. Ted has led the way in adding a large amount of green space to our city. Pickett's Run, 100+ acre wetlands, Angel Hope Memorial Park, and other parks. These will have a lasting positive effect on our community. Ted has worked to keep our taxes and utility costs low. In fact, they are some of the lowest in the state. He has also helped the residents of our community get their swagger back. Our community has a lot to be proud of now. I suspect that there will be some lingering effects of Ted visiting every school, every year. The first kindergartners that he spoke to are now graduating from college. In these days when everyone seems to be so cynical about politicians, I'll bet there are some of those students that realized that government service can be honorable and can be fun. Ted has planted the seeds to make us a more inclusive community. Ted brought our fireworks back, and he brought us Boo in Bluffton. Ted has provided us with the best fire and police protection available. Both departments are staffed with top-notch employees. Our Parks Department is one of the best in the state. Recycling has been a priority in Ted's administration, and Bluffton has been a leader in the state in recycling. As mayor, Ted has taken an active role in making our community a good place to live. Bluffton is a greener and more family-friendly community thanks to Ted. So in addition to the long list of Ted's involvements, we also have the fact that when he was involved with these different entities, many, many good things got accomplished. This too could qualify him for the Citizen of the Year award, but I still think it's more than these alone. I believe this honor comes to Ted because of his uncommon life. I would like to read from Tony Dungy's book, Uncommon Life. These are the traits that I've experienced in Ted Ellis. A life well spent, never exchanging what is eternal for what is temporary. Make sure your priorities reflect what is truly valuable. Serving others is serving him. Ted strives to serve others. A daily dose of encouragement. Ted is an encourager of people. Maximum generosity. Ted is maximum generosity. Reach out and touch someone. Ted reaches out to people. Ted is good from the inside out. What's on the inside matters more than what's on the outside. Ted commits to the things that have deeper value than what the world says. Ted chooses substance over style. Being there. Ted is there for people. He is a worthy example. Ted stays true to himself. He is a believer in Christ. Ted is a real-life role model. He's a spiritual giant. Ted chooses to be a positive influence. He is humble. Striving to remain humble is a sign of a person seeking God. Ted takes his job very seriously, but doesn't take himself seriously at all. Ted spotlights the best in others. And finally, no fanfare. Ted is a person who finds ways to be selfless, to do something quietly, unexpected for someone else. Ted is more than his career or accomplishments, especially the things that are lauded publicly. The bulk of Ted's impact, either on earth or eternally, will be from those things that he has done in private. And this brings me to a story. Several years ago, a couple from Ted's church experienced a tragedy. Their son-in-law drowned while he and their daughter were on vacation in Tennessee. Ted and I were both at the couple's home after the tragedy. I was there in the row as funeral director, and Ted was there in the row as deacon from church. The couple's daughter was back here in Wells County, but her vehicle remained in Tennessee. The daughter's father was very concerned about how he would get the vehicle back to Wells County. And Ted spoke up right away and said that he would drive someone to Tennessee to bring the vehicle back. The father said that he would like to make the trip with Ted. The father told Ted that he would call and work something out that would fit Ted's schedule. And Ted replied, and listen, you decide when you want to go and let me know. My schedule does not matter. I will be there. I learned something about Ted that day, and I learned a lesson about priorities and being there for people. Thanks, Ted. Thanks for the uncommon life you live. And the reason I always bring it back up is the last page is gone off that set. But I want to close a little bit nervous, Ted. I want to close tonight. I want to thank my partner, Jeff Wimler, for this. He doesn't know about it, but he helped me with this. I want to close tonight by reading The Value of a Life Well Lived by Doug Manning. And please listen. I know it's been a long night, but please listen to these words of Doug Manning. The value of a life well lived cannot be judged by words that pass our lips. It isn't what we say. Nor can the value be based on belief systems, accepted or rejected. It isn't what we believe. The value cannot be determined by the work we do, no matter how successful. It isn't what we do. Our value is found in the person we become. It is who we are that matters. The kindness that does not need to be turned on and just seems to be there. The honesty that happens without thought and is the expected response. The acceptance of others without conditions and is as natural as breath. These are the true values of a life well lived. These are the values that we find in Ted Ellis. If Ted has helped you, if he's encouraged you along the way, if he's supported you, if he's been there for you, if he's made our community just a little bit better place to live, would you stand up tonight?
Everybody ought to have a couple of friends like that. So as we pulled up tonight, I said to Marge, I said, can you, in your wildest dreams, ever imagine that we'd be doing this? And she looked at me so sweetly and said, honey, you're not in my wildest dreams. It's quite an honor, and Marge is the stoic in the family. I'm the one with the soft heart, so I'm the one that cries at weddings and cries at funerals. I cried during the ASPCA commercial. So, if I shed a tear in the next 2 minutes or so, it's a tear of gratitude and not a tear because I'm being given an award by probably a group that's 90% Republican. Yeah, there are a few of you out there. Scat, we're an endangered species. We're protected. Where do I start? Hardly speechless, but there's a movie, It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart. You know, we all watch it around Christmas time. And there's a scene at the end of that movie where everybody's crowded around George Bailey, around the Christmas tree, and someone finally lifts a glass to George and says, here's to George Bailey, the richest man in town. Tonight, that's how I feel. The richest man in town. Rich because of the community that I serve, a community that is generous to a fault, a community that expects excellence, a community that respects each other no matter whether we disagree or agree. I've been to 5 continents in all 50 states, not at Bluffton taxpayer expense, I would add. But I can tell you there is no community like this one. I'm rich because of the love of family. Some of them are over here. We've been through some sad times together. We've been through some hilarious times together. But the key word there is together. But also rich because of the God that I serve. There's a benediction that we often use from the book of Ephesians, and where Paul writes, and now unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. Immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. That's rich. That's wealth. There's a verse that I quote more often than I should probably, but has no greater application than it does tonight. It goes like this. It's been my joy in life to find at every turning of the road a strong arm of a comrade kind to help me bear a heavy load. And since I have no gold to give, but love alone can make amends, this is my prayer while I shall live. God, make me worthy of my friends. Thank you very much.